Hey there, so before we begin today's video, I just want to preface it with a little bit of a message. Now, you know that we don't film these videos the day that we're going to show them. We film them a couple of days in advance, and in some cases, I've been trying to film them a couple of weeks in advance. And so that's the case that happened with this particular video. In today's content, we are talking about unboxing this Nano E-Spinner, and the reason why we're unboxing it is because it was going to be used in an e-spinning video that we are going to film for the School of SweetGeorgia with a guest instructor from the States. Now, she was supposed to fly in at the end of March. Now, with all of the things that are happening globally, obviously we're not doing that right now. We've postponed all of that activity until later on when it's more feasible to do so. Now, obviously that has changed, and so I wanted to let you know ahead of time before you go on into today's content. There's also been a lot of other things that have changed recently for us. Obviously, the past weekend there was our local fibre festival, which happens once a year, every year, called Fibres West. This one has many spinning fibre vendors, lots of just fibre arts vendors who come out and they travel, they drive all of their goods a very long way to set up a booth in order to share what they've made for the past 2 days. And that event was unfortunately canceled because of some guidance that we all received from the BC government about sort of shutting down large-scale events and things like that. So yeah, many businesses are struggling right now. Obviously, your local yarn store is going to be struggling as well. Many businesses are struggling. And so if there's any way within your means, if you are interested, you can go check out the fibreswest.com website, and you can see all the vendors that are listed there. And I encourage you to support any of them if you can in any way, because this is quite devastating for many people. There's been a couple of other changes, including at the studio. We've decided to suspend any of our in-studio knit nights for now, just for now, and in the meantime we will be running virtual knitting sessions, virtual knit nights, I guess, in our Zoom room. So we'll be doing that, and we'll let you know when all that kind of stuff happens. I think that during this time when everybody is feeling a lot of anxiety, no doubt, a lot of uncertainty. These are the times when you obviously want to be able to connect with other people, and you want to be able to share your experience with a lot of people, because that's how you're able to make it through these situations. And in this particular situation, when we're all being asked to separate and not be close to each other, it's extremely difficult. And so we are trying to find ways that we can effectively connect with people in a way that's very supportive to our community. And so we are looking at different virtual events that we might be running. We're looking at ways of encouraging more interaction in a community, sort of like an online community. It's never a replacement for, seeing people in person. It is what we all need to do at this time. And so if you are feeling like you're in need of finding like-minded people who can share your experience with you, then I encourage you also to seek us out. You can reach out to us through social media, through here, through our school, through anywhere, and to find us there. We are listening and would love to hear about how we can help support you through all of this right now. We are going to go ahead with and we have been going ahead with our spring make-along, which started this past week. And so we are running a lot of our discussion in the discussion forums at the School of SweetGeorgia. So if it's something that you would like to join a make-along right now and spend some time casting on and making a new project and sharing your work with some other people who are in this community, I encourage you to join us to do that as well. Oh, this message was really hard to record. I think this is the 7th time I've hit record. And I just want to encourage you to take care of yourself, take care of your families, take care of your community, and just do everything you can to stay safe and stay healthy. I hope you guys enjoy today's little bit of content, little bit of fun content about the e-spinner. Next week, we're going to do a giveaway for the Chiago needles for their 15th anniversary, so you guys can come back for that. And if you're looking for people to connect with who love what you love to do, then feel free to reach out to us. We are here. Take care, everybody. Hey, welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about what's in this box. Hi there, I'm Felicia from Sweet Georgia, and this is Taking Back Friday. This is a space where we come every Friday. We talk about the fiber arts. We talk about knitting and weaving and spinning and dyeing. We like to talk about making time to make things. And today I'm going to talk about, I mentioned it last week. I haven't had any time, I haven't had any time to really be knitting very much. I haven't had much energy to be knitting very much and to be thinking about knitting projects right now. And so what I have been doing in the evening is I have been just zoning out and spinning. I've been spinning a lot. I've been spinning a lot with my trusty e-spinner here. So this is the Ashford e-spinner 3. I talked about this a couple months ago. I got it just before Christmas, I think it was. I love it. And I have it on this fabulous little IKEA cart, and I roll it around everywhere. I roll it to the TV, I roll it to the kitchen, wherever I need to be. And I have been spinning some test fiber here that we are going to be putting on our own shop site soon. This is Targhee, not superwash, not treated, Targhee spinning fiber that has been hand dyed. This colorway happens to be the tapestry colorway, and I'm very excited about it. We dyed it as a test so that I could spin some and see how it was going to do, and so I have been spinning it. You can kind of see it. It's on the bobbin here. I should take a better, nicer bobbin shot, but that's about 1/2 of the fiber has been spun up onto the bobbin, and I'm just going to make a little delimiter, which is what I generally do. I make like a little white fiber section right in the middle between the two halves of the fiber, and then I'm just going to continue spinning on with this. And then after I'm finished with this bobbin, I wind off each half of the fiber onto separate storage bobbins, and then I'll apply those two together. So that's kind of what I'm doing here with that. But then this arrived for me in the mail. So let me tell you a little bit about why this is here. In a couple of weeks, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be filming more classes for the School of Sweet Georgia. In this one, we are going to be filming some content around e-spinners and how e-spinners work, how you spin with an e-spinner, what are the differences between different e-spinners. This is going to be hosted by a guest instructor, which I will talk about when we finally launch the course. But yeah, it's going to be fantastic. It's something that the people in our School of Sweet Georgia community have been asking me. There's a lot of people who would love to be able to learn how to spin, and sometimes getting into a wheel is it's really expensive, and it just seems a little bit out of reach for a lot of people. So you could get into spinning at the very most basic way with just a spindle, and a spindle still might run you about $30 or $40, and then plus a bump of fiber and stuff like that. So, about $40, $50 investment in trying a skill. But, once you've figured out how to do some park and draft, some spinning, some drafting with the fiber, you want to do a little bit more. And sometimes it feels like that next step to more is to invest in a wheel. And well, when you start getting into wheels start around $300, $400, $500, $600. And that gap sometimes is the difference between just playing with spinning and actually becoming a spinner and wanting to actually do more spinning. And so this is kind of where this comes in. We're talking with the guest instructor about what could we demonstrate or show e-spinning with, and that's what is in here. I have not opened the box. I've actually never used this machine before, so we're gonna do it together for the first time. If I can figure out how to open the box. I'll show you what it is. So we are going to be filming here in this house in a couple of weeks. And so I just have to get this thing set up so that, make sure that it's functioning, so when we're filming, it will be okay. Now, just a fun fact, we were actually, many years ago, I'd already started talking about making some kind of educational videos for crafts and fiber arts and all that kind of stuff. And my intention was to actually film everything at this particular dining room table. And we had started, a couple of years ago, we filmed some tutorials with Holly Yo for the Tempest book that we put together and all of her knitwear designs for that Tempest collection. We filmed a whole bunch of tutorials right here at this dining room table. And it was in my mind that we were going to film all of our tutorials here in the kitchen, in the living room, in the dining room area of this house and all of this kind of stuff. And yeah, in a couple of weeks, we're going to be filming hopefully 3 classes, basically right here at this dining room table. So it's all happening. It's all coming together. It is all happening. So yes, the reason why I looked into this particular e-spinner is because it only costs $100, $110 US for this particular wheel. This is the Electric Wheel, the Nano wheel. I got the purple one for us to test drive. So here it is coming out of the box. That looks like a drive band. Oh, there's a tiny little skinny little orifice hook here. Everything's so tiny, I don't want to lose anything. Looks like here are the bobbins that can be taken apart, disassembled, and put back together. So those are the cores of the bobbins, and this is the ends of the bobbins. So these two go together. This looks like power. That's power supply. This looks like USB. I wonder, it's USB power. That's cool. So that's everything in the box. Okay, so let's see. How can we make this happen? Okay, cool. So it looks like you can find all the instructions here, but I'm gonna try and figure it out on my own without the instructions. So it seems very, very straightforward. So these are some spin cards that have been provided. So there's a twist gauge here to show you the angle of your twist. There's wraps per inch gauge here to show you how thick your yarn is. So that's all nice that they included all those things. Now it should be pretty straightforward. This is a Scotch tension wheel. So here I've got the little drive band here, the tiny little rubber drive band, and that's gonna go around here, around the base here. You can kind of see there's like a little pulley down here. There's a little pulley right there. And then that pulley should theoretically go around this. So you can see this is the flyer assembly, and there's a groove in here where the drive band should go, and this is the orifice, and so that's where the yarn will go once it's all done. I'm gonna pop that on here. Okay, and you can kind of see that the flyer fits in really nicely because this metal little bearing, I guess, it sits right in the plastic groove, and so that's where it's going to fit. And the drive band is around here. So when the motor that's in here at the bottom, right here, when the motor in here, when it powers up and turns, it's going to turn the drive band here, which is going to turn the flyer. So those two things are connected. Now on the other end, there is another one of those metal bearing things, and so that goes on this end, and it also pops into that little groove that's in here. There's a little plastic groove in here. So that's where it sits. And then we have here this little elastic cord. This little elastic cord is going to be the brake band. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just tie a little knot on one side here on my little brake band and tuck it into this groove that's right here. So now my little elastic band won't pop out. It's going to be right there. And then I'm going to tuck it around. There's another groove here on the bobbin. So there's a groove on the bobbin itself, and that's where this brake band is going to go. And then I'm going to tuck it into the other groove on the other side. And so that's kind of in place. So I want to make sure that the tension is not so much that the tension would be adjustable, because all I have to do is pull on this little elastic cord and it will increase the brake band tension on the bobbin. So I'm just going to leave it relatively loose for now. Not so loose, not too tight. Okay, just enough hopefully. And then what I've done is I've just taken the power from my Ashford e-spinner, and it's quite universal. So this power block I got from Amazon, and it's the one that Ashford recommended. So it comes with a whole bunch of different plugs for international use. This is the one that I happen to be using. In terms of charging it, there's like a whole bunch of different chargers that you can use for input for the power, and then output. I think that these are also USB. These are USB cables, so I could theoretically plug in the USB cable that came with the Nano, plug that in and use that one for power, or I just have the regular cord. I'm just going to try using that. So plugging that into the side there. If I turn on my battery pack, so you can see the battery pack is charged and it's on. And then this one just has a speed dial here to turn up and down the speed. And then there are two directions for your twist, Z twist and S twist. So I generally use Z twist when I'm spinning my singles. So that means that the flyer should be turning in the clockwise direction. So I'm going to switch it to the Z direction and then turn up the speed here. You can see the flyer starting to move. Okay, so we have our battery pack on, we have it in the Z direction, and we're going to turn it on. So power's on. And as you adjust this dial, you can increase the speed of the twist. Okay, so that looks like it's all working. Now it's just a matter of putting on a leader and seeing if we can get some yarn on here now. Now, this is very interesting. So the bottom of this wheel, it has these spots where you theoretically, you could pin it down to something. So you could screw it onto a block, you could screw it onto a desk or something like that to make sure that it doesn't move anywhere. It's quite a lightweight sort of unit, so this is fun. Okay. So we have some yarn here to make a leader. This is generally how I tie my leaders around the bobbins. I loop it twice. Okay, great. And so here we have some of these little squishy pegs these are yarn guides. These are to guide your spun yarn. And I think I can pop it through this one. And they are open-ended type, so I can just twist it around. I can just slide it around and it will pop in. There we go. And then I need to use my tiny little orifice hook here. I'm going to need to tie it to something, otherwise I'm definitely going to lose it. And that looks like it should be threaded. So then if I turn the power back on again, you can see twist is being added here. Okay, so now let's try some fiber then. I'm just going to take a very, very small chunk because I actually want to save that for spinning with this one. This is just a test, but you can see it's like kind of sliding around a lot. I know that I've seen Allison brought kind of like a prototype of this particular wheel a couple of years ago when she came over for barbecue in the summer, and I saw her use an elastic band to tie her spinning wheel, her like sort of electric spinning wheel, to a very, very heavy book so that it wouldn't slide around anywhere. But I have no such object at this moment. So we'll just see what happens. Okay, so it's doing something funny with this battery because for whatever reason the battery keeps turning off. Maybe it just can't sense that it's got any power draw from it. So I'm gonna try and use the power cord that came with the thing. Okay. Okay, fantastic. So there you have it. It functions, it works, it's great. Continuous power is a great idea. One of the things that would be really, really handy is if I found a way to stick it to something a little bit heavier, find like a permanent spot for it, maybe like screw it into the side of a coffee table or something like that. Like, yeah, it would have to be a coffee table that would be designated for this thing. Or maybe even screwing it to something like this IKEA cart. Like this IKEA cart has mesh bottoms. The bottom of this shelf is mesh. And so I could theoretically just stick something underneath to attach it to the mesh, like even zip straps or something like that. Zap strap it to this mesh cart and then it wouldn't go anywhere. And then you'd have a little bit more stability in terms of spinning. Because when I spin, I kind of want to tug back against the machine a little bit. So there's a little bit of that, but otherwise it functions great. So these slidey little yarn guides for loading up the bobbin really nicely and evenly, that's working really beautifully. This brake band has just enough grip to not move and stays in place really well. It has quite good speed in terms of revolutions, and you could spin on this for quite some time. This is actually wonderful. Yeah. So this little Electric Eel Nano is available from Dreaming Robots. You can find them online. They did not sponsor this or anything like that. We bought this little machine ourselves so that way we could use it for the course and show you guys how this works, how it compares to something like the Ashford, and how e-spinners work in general. If you're interested in learning how to spin at all, we have a course that's called Spinning from Scratch on the School of SweetGeorgia. And so in that one, I talk about fiber, I talk about drafting, I talk about, adding twist to fiber and how to ply and all those fundamental things about spinning. We have a number of spinning classes on the school, but yeah, this one is coming soon as well. So if you're interested in e-spinning, you can leave a comment below and let me know like what it is that you want to learn about e-spinning, and we can definitely ask our guest instructor to answer some of those questions as we're doing the content as well. So that course will come out in a couple of months as well. So e-spinning coming out on the School of SweetGeorgia soon. And if you are at all interested in this beautiful not superwash Targhee spinning fiber, this should also be available on our SweetGeorgia shop. So you can find it there, and all of our hand-painted colors will be able to put on this fiber. So that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this episode, please do hit the like button. And if you would like to see more content like this, please do hit subscribe. We talk about the fiber arts every Friday. We talk about knitting and spinning and weaving and dyeing and all the things to do with yarn and color. So if you'd like to join us, I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks, bye for now.